Well, Finance Commission in India is, it's a constitutional body which is appointed by the President of India under Article 280 of the Constitution. It is faced with a very serious challenge at a time when the global environment is not very good and the India's own tax resources are not very, very productive. In fact, India on the whole, at the union level, they raise just about 11% of GDP, and at the state level, they raise about 6% of GDP. Now, to distribute this among the various states is a major challenge. So that, and then given the fact that there is a wide disparity in the levels of living and in the size of the tax base between different states, to have a measure of equality or a measure of equity to ensure, to enable comparable levels of services at comparable tax rates in different states is a major challenge. The second major challenge is, as I said, at a time when the global economy has slowed down and Indian economy itself has slowed down, to fix fiscal rules for the union government and the state government, because the union government has a fiscal deficit of today fiscal deficit of over 6% of GDP. Now this has to be brought down. Now the minister of finance, it's about 5.3, 5.4. The finance minister says that he wants to bring it down to 4.8%. But the previous finance commission's targets are much even tougher. The Finance Commission has the responsibility of fixing the targets, and then we will have to fix the targets which are realistic, which are achievable, and which are at a time when the entire global economy is slowing down. And then to have a set of rules and systems to ensure that they follow these rules, the fiscal rules, and then contain their fiscal deficit at the levels indicated so that the country does not become overburdened with debt. So we have these problems, but there are many other problems as well, like the issue of compensating the states for the environment, the forestry and environmental issues. There is an issue of goods and services tax, where much greater coordination would be required between the union and the states, because we would be having a goods and services tax like the Canadians at both the union and the state level. And that would really have a much greater challenge, face a challenge. The Commission has to, promote this type of reforms. Definitely we need a lot more of reforms for fiscal coordination. Now, one of the major areas, as I mentioned, is the introduction of a goods and services tax, and quite a lot of coordination is required in terms of, and then compromise will have to be made between the union and the states and among the states inter se in terms of evolving a destination-based goods and services tax. That's a long haul. Now, there are issues of sharing, the resources, natural resources management, the whole issue of sharing the gains from the natural resources. There are the issues of coordinating the policies to undertake reforms in the power sector. There are issues of coordination in coordinating various to ensure that essential public services are provided. Whether it is now the government has come out with the Food Security Act. They said that there should be national food security, but then the implementation of this will have to be done at the state level and the local level. There is a major program on poverty alleviation by creating employment generation. National Rural Employment Guarantee Act has indicated that employment should be generated, every unemployed youth in rural areas should be given 100 days of employment. Now, if you really want to do that, again, the resources will have to come from the center, and the implementation will have to be done at the state level. And then coordinating this is going to be a major, major issue. I mean, these are the issues that we need to really deal with. There are many, many issues. After all, it's a country which is diverse in terms of religious freedoms, in terms of ethnic composition, languages, and variety of diversities that exist, and the challenges of coordinating are much more than possibly anywhere else in the world, because 1.2 billion people in a democratic setup with 250,000 governments, if you take all of them together, is a major, major challenge.